So, hi, David. How are you?
Hey man, nice seeing you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. So,
Of
I
course. Thank you
met
for
you.
inviting me.
So, I met you in Facebook, and I know you've been in Facebook a long time. Um, you had a group, and whenever I saw what you had, to me it was kind of new because I knew about groups, but I never understood quite you know the power of groups. so
Right.
so tell me how you got started into Facebook and all that.
Okay, of course. So it's kind of a long story actually. I started working on building mission-driven communities when I was 14, and I'm turning actually turned 37. So it's been many years that I've been building communities long before Facebook existed. So that was just always a passion of mine to gather people around the common interest.
And you
So
mean physical communities?
yeah, exactly. Before Corona, remember?
Okay, okay.
Exactly. So it was around video games in the beginning. So that was a big, big, big passion of mine. And I just always enjoyed gathering people around a common interest or goal, mission. So it just became quite natural for me at a certain point to look at Facebook like that's where people are, and I just thought Facebook was magical when it came out, and then when Facebook groups came as well, it was a very natural progression of what I was already doing and specializing in.
And you always started like right now the concept is for you teach people how to maintain a group, how to grow a group, right? Is that always how you started, or you started with a different idea?
Right. So that's one of the three phases that I help people with. So I actually the big problem that I solve is that I help coaches, consultants, agency owners, aspiring course creators to gather an audience around the specific problem that they solve. So they get that endless stream of organic clients.
Mhm.
That's the first phase. And the second phase is I help people create, package, market, offer, and sell an online course that directly matches what your audience wants and needs. And then the third phase, that's how do we actually make sales? So that's all the sales system, setting up the whole thing, the technology to get these three things in order. That's how I see how we actually make sales. We have an audience, we have the perfect offer, and then we have a way of conveying the value of our offer to our audience.
Well, that sounds really good. It sounds simple enough, but yet I'm sure it's got its difficult side of things, right?
Of
So,
course.
why would it's so simple, but things, people make it so hard. What have you seen
Yeah.
that people are not doing correctly, or what are they doing wrong?
Right. So I think we get brought up with the saying of think before you say something, or think before you act, or you know, think of what you're doing before you do it.
Hmm.
The problem is that this thing that we're trying to figure out, it's impossible to figure it out. It really is. And even if we do come to a conclusion, it's going to be wrong, always. So when we are doing this, we have to think of it more as as owning a massage parlor. It's more like you can't massage someone until they're there on lying on the brits, so you have to
Okay.
you have to you have to do things in the right order. So that's the biggest problem that I see people doing. They might be doing the right thing, it's just that they're doing it in the wrong order. If you're creating a course before you actually have the student in front of you, you're doing it in the wrong order. That's
Okay.
the, yeah. Get the student first. Make the sale first.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to. I mean, I know the logic behind it, and I've seen it before because I used to create online courses a while back, and yeah, I think that was, I was in groups in Facebook, and that was the biggest mistake. People, they will quickly go, to create a course, and then they will like, well, I have the course, but I'm not selling it.
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
that.
That's one of the main principles is to never help someone unless they're asking you for help.
Hmm.
It's just so it's really simple when you think about it. Never do something for someone until they ask you to do it. And then you can, charge them for it, etc. But we don't talk at people. We talk with people. There's a big difference there.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That makes
Yeah,
sense. So
yeah.
tell me, there's we have different channels for social media, and you have focus on Facebook. Are you in other platforms, or is it purposeful for you to just stay in one platform?
I'll eventually advance to other groups, etc. But right now, I don't really feel the need to it. I think with a Facebook group, Facebook Messenger, you need to be able to talk with people directly,
Hmm.
and also an email list. You need to be able to land in their inbox directly. If you put something in your Facebook group, there no way you're gonna reach everyone. Not everyone's gonna read that. If you
Hmm.
send out an email, at least you have a chance of not ending in the spam folder. Yeah.
That's interesting. And tell me about more about your group. For the people that don't know the group that I'm talking about, what's the name of the group? How
Yeah.
many people are in there, and all that?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, it's really important that we create, if we are aiming to make it in as a part of our business, is that we create a mission-driven community. So it's not a hobby group. We don't talk about a specific topic. We're trying to achieve a specific goal together. So the mission of my community is to create and sell an online course. So this is a community for people that are actually in there trying to create and sell an online course. That's the big goal that we're all striving towards. And then all the people in there, they're talking, exchanging ideas, experiences, feedback, comments, helping each other out to reach this specific goal. If people don't actually want to reach that goal, then what value do I have as a service provider? Makes no sense for me. If I make an offer, no one is going to value that unless I'm actually talking with people that actually are trying to solve this big problem or achieve this big goal that we're all looking to solve, right?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I really
Yeah,
like that. You're
yeah. And,
focusing.
and to answer your second question, 7,500
Oh, seven
people.
thousand.
Yeah,
How long? How long have you had this group?
it's about 2 years now, something
2
like
years.
that. It's all organic, no paid ads, nothing like that.
Wow, that's really good. That's really
Mm,
good.
thanks.
And what's the name of the group?
It's called Online Course Secrets.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
so for our audience, for the people listening to this podcast, if you are interested on, you say, you had the big idea of creating an online course, but you don't know how to sell it. But then go join this group. Let me tell you, personally, I've been part of this group, and just from the conversations, you get a lot of good information. Okay, so that's my recommendation to the people listening to us. So tell me about a little bit about your future goals. I mean, do you want to continue growing up this group, or do you have any plans for the future?
Great. Yeah, of course. So my vision moving forward is just increasing the numbers, get more members. I have these milestones. I'm looking to for 10,000 members in my group. I'm looking for 250 students in my signature program. So so it's just moving along like that. I have a vision with this whole thing, and that is that I see a lot of people going to jobs they don't like, doing things they don't want, selling their time, not valuing their time. They have a lot of important things that they could share with others, something that's crucial for someone out there that really, really needs what you can do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's a disconnect. You have something valuable and you might not understand how valuable it is. And then there's someone out there that would do anything to get help with that, to overcome that problem. So as much as I possibly can, I want to help remove all that friction and just connect people and help people help more people.
And tell me, I mean, I know you told me about that you were always a community builder. Did you ever have doubts about because in a sense you're a teacher, you're a coach. Did you ever have doubts about yourself, like not being able to provide enough value to people?
Yeah, I think that's a very healthy thing to have. I think if you're not doubting yourself, you're not pushing yourself, like you're not aiming for something that you find to be impossible. That should always be, if you think what you're doing is possible at all times, you're not pushing yourself enough. It's like going to the gym, right? Like you should get to the point where it feels impossible and then go for it anyway and not stop yourself. Let the weights stop you, right? Like that's the mindset we want to go for. So if you don't doubt yourself, go harder. like try to find your limit, and you'll realize that it's actually way further than you might think.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Sometimes that's what happens to us. Sometimes, I mean, to me, it happens a lot. I'm doubting myself a lot, so many times, and
Yeah.
and I wonder, if I'm doing things correctly. And sometimes that drives me, but I've seen people sometimes that stops them completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's I would start by sitting down and really figuring out what is it that you want to do with your limited time on earth. Like, we're all going to die, we're all going to turn into dust, right? So we have this limited time, and it's not the kind of problem that's going to go away just because we look at Netflix or we go out and drink every Saturday, or it's the kind of thing that's always there. You are going to die, I am going to die, we're all going to die. So how do we make the most of it? How do we, at the end of this, can look back and, like, yeah, I did my best. Like, given my circumstances, I went for it. I didn't regret it, because that's what happened. If you look at what people regret at the end of their lives, is that they stayed at a job they didn't like, they didn't pursue their passion, they didn't check things off their bucket list. Time goes fast, so make the most of it, and really understand what you want to do,
Mhm.
and then go for it.
I really like the way you're thinking because I don't think that a lot of people think of it like that. They like, some people say don't think about dying, but it's not like you're thinking about it. You're using it as a motivator, like you're saying, like, okay, so what am I gonna say? What's the name of that thing? I forgot. What is my tomb gonna say? Is it gonna
Yeah,
say
the gravestone, right?
the gravestone? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gonna say he tried his best, or he's gonna say he
He
worked
watched
at
Netflix. He watched every season of the mini Yoda series.
right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so what do you want your tombstone to say at the end of your life?
Yeah. I
Yes.
really don't think we can properly value our life unless we contrast it with not having life, right? Like, that's how it works. You
Hmm.
can't value something, you can't value your hand until you start imagining what it would be like to live without one.
No, no, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I know, especially online course creators, I know one of the misconceptions is like, well, there's already a class for that, or there's already an online course for that. What would you tell them about that?
Yeah, so go and sign up for those classes, and you'll see that it's not that they're most of them are not very good. I think it's just there's so much crap out there. Honestly, it's really uh, you can aim to make the very, very best course for your niche on the market. Like, you could create a world-class course that actually makes a difference, where people enter and they message you how happy they are and how you've affected their lives, and you can be a part of that. A lot of people need what you have, and you have something unique, because look in the mirror, you look different than everyone else. So you have a unique experience. Your life is unique to you. No one else has that experience. So whatever you teach, you're going to bring that with you, and that's going to attract your specific audience.
Hmm. And those are really wise words. So for the audience listening to us, David, I mean, like I said, I've been part of this group, and he's got a lot of gold nuggets in there. So make sure you join his group, because if you're, especially if you're thinking about creating an online course, because you're gonna get a lot of value from that group. So and
That's
and
right.
it's free. Most of it's free. So it's really good.
Yeah,
I like that.
cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what advice, the final advice will you tell someone who's, trying to, what would you tell them so they can move forward? What would be your advice for them?
Okay. So it's different, right? So I talk with people all the time that are stuck at different things, and there are patterns, of course. The major pattern is thinking that something has to be a certain way before you can take the next step, or you have to know a certain amount before you can teach it, or you have to have a certain amount of people before you can do that. Business doesn't work like that. There are no stops. There is nothing. That's why it's so easy to get burnt out, because there's nothing really stopping you from always taking the next step. So Just to give you an example, so I was working with a client, and she was completely stuck on who she wanted to help and what course she would create. And
Hmm.
I typically help people gather their audience first, but she was so stuck that we had to take one step back and just focus on getting her a quick win. So, if people just knew how easy it is to sell an online course, so I can just run it very fast because it's like we worked for like 30 minutes. She didn't have, when we started, she didn't have any clue who she was going to help and how. And 30 minutes later, she had announced a webinar and she got like 20 registered people. And now I'm helping her and she's gonna um, offer a course. And it all works because we're doing things in the right order. So I don't know, is this interesting? Would you like me to share how this works?
Yeah. I mean, sounds awesome. Yeah, keep sharing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically this is how we did it. It's just uh, what are you good at? What I asked her, what are you good at? We just wrote it down. Okay, of these things that you're good at, what do you like to do?
Hmm.
We narrowed it down, and then we looked at her Facebook profile. She had 300 friends, and like looking at these things that you're good at and like to do, what does your Facebook friend know you for and they need help with, etc. So we found it. It was like sign language. I know how to do sign language. Perfect. So we just went on her profile, like took a photo doing some signs, and like, hey everyone, I started working on an online course for sign language, but so I'm going to offer you a free workshop. Would you be interested in joining this? If so, comment down below. We got a comment ladder going. We got a bunch of people saying they were interested. And then people get to register on a Zoom page. In Zoom, you can schedule a meeting and then you
Right.
can ask people things.
Right.
So we just asked them, like on a scale from 1 to 5, how experienced are you with sign language? Why do you want to learn sign language? What is it that you want to learn about sign language? Do you have any other comments? So just 4 questions. And then we got a bunch of people joining, registering, and saying that they needed it for their kids. It turns out that a lot of people have deaf kids, and now they have to learn sign language to be able to communicate properly with their children. Perfect. So then we angle it like that, right? So now we go back, we offer this thing for people that want to be able to communicate with their children, sign language.
So
So
there was a need, but she wasn't putting herself out there, pretty much.
exactly. And it's all about, imagine if she had to figure that out before people told her. So we have to do it in reverse. We have to just say first, I'm doing this, I'm planning on doing this thing. Are you interested? And then if people say yes, we go deeper. Okay, you said you were interested. Why?
Hmm.
Why exactly? Why do you want to join this?
Hmm.
And then we get the avatar and the transformation. And now she's clearly seeing, I have a niche here. I can help people with sign language specifically for their kids. So it's a combination of teaching sign language, but for children, in relationship with children, right? And now she stands out from her market. She can become the expert at sign language
For
towards
children.
children.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So and because it matches so well, when people join the free workshop,
Hmm.
she's not actually going to teach them everything of how to do this with their children. They're going to get a sample, and she's going to tell them right from the beginning, this is what we're going to cover, how you do this, how you do that. And for those of you that want more help, I'm going to share with you at the end of this presentation, this workshop, how we can continue on and how you can learn more. Does that
Hmm.
sound good? Perfect. Everyone is ready. It's a pre-frame. It doesn't come as a surprise. So
Hmm.
then at the end, if she's done her job right, she just asks, how was this? Did you learn something? Yes, it was awesome. Okay, great. Does anyone want more help with this? Yes, of course. Okay, would you like me to share with you the course that I'm planning? And again, she doesn't create the course if people say no. If no one is interested, she just like, well, thank you so much for joining. And then she goes to another idea. She does something else, so she doesn't waste her time. But if people say yes, then it's just like, awesome. So next Thursday, we're going to do, so right there on the call, she decides if she's going to do it or not. So next Thursday, we're going to do the first of 3 classes on these topics, blah, 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 blah. I am planning on selling this for $1,000 in the future. But right now, because you are my first students and I want to give you amazing results. I want to work with you directly. We're going to do half off if you sign up now. How does that sound? Perfect. And then she has a link. And this is the first course she makes. She's never done a course. She doesn't know. We don't have to complicate it. She doesn't have to get Thinkific teachable. She just sells them access to a Google Drive, right? It's just, they meet on Zoom. She puts the replays in a shared folder just for the people that paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's done.
You make it sound so simple.
It is, because it is. It really is. Now, this is how you can sell a course for, she's going to sell this for $50 or something.
Right.
And of course, if you want to sell a high ticket program, a little bit more goes into it. But it's the same structure. It's the same process. We gather up people. We ask them if they're interested. We figure out exactly what it is they want and need. We create that for them in the form of an offer. We don't build the whole thing. We create an offer. We make the offer. If there's enough interest, we create it for them live. So get the students first, create the course later.
All right. So it's just doing like some research before you actually get into the time of building a course and all that. So exactly. Yeah, most of the people I know, they're doing it backwards because they want to create the course first and then they want to try to sell it.
Exactly. Remove all guesswork. All guesswork out. It should be a completely mechanical process. First we do this. That enables us to figure that out. With the help of that information, we can take the next step.
I'm telling you, for the ones that is listening to this, he's a man. David, if you're creating an online course and don't know what you're doing, you need to go look him up and he'll tell you what to do.
Thanks.
All right. So again, for the people that are listening, where can they find you? And how can you help them? I mean, you kind of told us a lot of things, important things right now, but just where can they find you?
Great. So the way I think it works the best is if I just share with you my entire business method, like my entire strategy. I've managed to, in some way, I don't know how I did it, but I managed to get it down into a 20-minute video. So if you go to my website, onlinecoursesecrets.com, you can get it over there. So it's onlinecoursesecrets.com. And then how it usually works is that when people have watched that training, if they feel that strategy is what they want to go for, if you feel that, then we can get on a phone call together. It's a strategy call. It's a 45-minute strategy call where you can talk with me directly. We can take a look at your business, what you need help with, what you're currently doing that's not working, or what you should be doing that you're not. And then, really look at how you can implement this strategy for your business. And if you want to take the next step after that, we can talk about working together. So that's how that's how I sell my courses.
Awesome. Really good. So I will be putting that website on the description of the podcast. And if you're listening to this podcast on your podcast there's going to be a video as well on YouTube, and I'll be posting the link as well on the comments there. So that way you can go find David and he'll help you fix your life. Awesome. All right, David. Well, thank you very much for your valuable information. Like I said, this has been awesome. There's a lot of people out there trying to build courses, but they're doing it the wrong way. And just because there's a course out there, it doesn't mean that there's no opportunity for you. Like David said, there's a lot of opportunities out there. If there's already one for how to bathe a dog, I'm sure there's a better way that you know how to do it, and you can create your own online course. So thank you, David, for being here with us. And
thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'll be seeing you later. I'll be seeing you in the group.
Yeah, see you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.